How is it going, everybody? My name is Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Bravado Ramble. It is, what is it? It is 9:45 at night. I'm recording this on Sunday, May 18th, 2014. Give me if I sound a little more mellow this evening. A little bit mellow this evening. It's been a long couple of weeks, and it's actually a long weekend here in Canada. Tomorrow is a holiday. I'm still unemployed, so every day is a holiday. Yay. Not really. But yeah, I have a potential job prospect on the line. The one I talked about in the last one of these videos didn't work out. Long story that will involve me swearing a lot if I talk about it, so I won't do that. Have another one, but another potential one, but I'm not sure where it's going right now, and that's causing my head to think the worst, as it's wont to do. So, but kind of wanted something to do this evening, and well, an interesting development happened today. Technically, this is still a rumor at this point, but we all know what's happening. YouTube is buying Twitch, it looks like. Variety, I think, was the first place to talk about it, saying that, multiple sources are saying that they are close to acquiring Twitch for $1 billion with a B, which actually kind of sounds a little, I thought it'd be more than that, especially with, how much did Google buy Nest for? Hang on, now I gotta look this up, but Google bought Nest for $3 billion, $3.2 billion, and they're a friggin' company that makes trendy friggin' smart thermostats that don't really work properly, and I don't know, but that is the rumor. But I'm writing it as fact because we know it's fact. It's if places like this are reporting on it, it's going to happen. That's the way it always goes. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised. In this day and age, every startup like that gets bought. I mean, YouTube was a startup at one point, and then Google bought them. And that's just the way it goes these days. Venture capitalists don't care about the long term. They want their investment back, and they want it now. So that's what happened here. Much like Oculus Rift, Twitch was going to get bought. It was only a matter of time. And it's not a surprise to see YouTube want to do that. YouTube offers live streaming. It's okay. I've played with it. It works reasonably well. The social interaction features on it are pretty terrible. Your chat room is basically YouTube comments, which doesn't really work. And it's fine, but nobody really goes to YouTube for live streaming either. For better or worse, largely for worse, Twitch has been the dominating force in live streaming, just like YouTube is the dominating force in on-demand video. And well, it's interesting. There's been mixed reaction so far. The reaction I've seen from a lot of people sort of at face value. And if you're someone who largely views Twitch rather than streams yourself, you would probably react this way too, is yay, Twitch might get some friggin' bandwidth finally. Because especially their VOD player has been hot garbage for a long time now. It constantly lags, quality's bad, etc., etc. And it may sound like a good thing for that. And it very well may be. If they can get... YouTube is far from perfect when it comes to bandwidth, but if they can get Twitch into that infrastructure, it will be a definite improvement. I think that's a good thing. What I'm worried about in terms of this, as someone who does stuff on YouTube and Twitch, is I have some, frankly, pretty significant... I mean, we're not going to know the details of this for a while. Even if it comes out in some official capacity tomorrow, we're not going to know the details of how things are going to change in a while. I mean, Twitch is its own website, which is very different from YouTube. Twitch's business model is advertising like YouTube's, but their partner system is very different. The way they approach a whole bunch of things is very, very different from YouTube. And if Google doesn't tend to run stuff autonomously. I don't think they're going to buy Twitch just to say, all right, you guys keep doing what you're doing in your own little silo. I'm sure it's going to receive a lot of Google integration the same way that YouTube did. But the concerns that I have about it as someone who participates in both with really no success whatsoever at this point is that YouTube and Twitch, frankly, are both pretty awful services to produce content for. Their interfaces are bad. Their servers are bad. Their support is, well, Twitch at least has a modicum of support. YouTube basically has no support at all unless you're a huge channel. They don't have, like, their tools are not very good. They have a lot of reliability problems. You know, Twitch has bad VOD bandwidth. YouTube takes hours and hours and hours to process a 5-minute video, you know, in 720p. So they both have lots of problems. And the biggest, if I would say first off, I think the biggest concern that I have is that they're going to merge all their respective problems into one massive nexus of hot shit. And I think that could be a problem. I mean, I think Twitch's bandwidth problems could be solved by getting into YouTube's CDN infrastructure, which would be pretty amazing. But, you know, the lousy interface on Twitch's website, the lousy channel management, the fact that their chat is IRC based, which is very unreliable and very easily exploitable, as has been demonstrated many times before, is going to be tricky. But I think this was, you know, it could improve things a lot. I mean, the fact of the matter is we like I said, Twitch was guaranteed to be bought, and the real reason for that is there's a lot of differences in how these two different places work, but there's a lot of similarities as well. The advantage that YouTube has over Twitch from an infrastructure perspective is the fact that if I make a video like this one, which, yes, I'm aware of the irony of bitching about YouTube on YouTube, but, you know, where the hell else are people going to see this? The way it works, if I take this video, I upload it to YouTube, that bandwidth from my upload gets used once. There's storage on their server that that this video will take up, and then every time somebody watches it, a chunk of bandwidth is used to serve that out. So you watching this are using a chunk of YouTube's bandwidth to watch this thing. Twitch is worse in terms of what they have to deal with, because as long as I am streaming into an ingest server. So I am pumping video from my end into a server on their end, and that is happening regardless of whether anybody's watching me. And then for every additional viewer that is watching me, so if I have one person watching my streams, not uncommon, then there's my ingest bandwidth. They have to transcode it on their servers and then pump that bandwidth out. If two people are watching me, it's double the bandwidth. Well, if you're a partner and you can choose your level, it's different, but you know what I mean. It's twice the bandwidth. 3 people, it's 3 times the bandwidth. If you're a popular streamer that has thousands of viewers, they are literally rebroadcasting the same video thousands of times at the same time, because it's live. It's all being done at once. YouTube may serve the same, say, a Total Biscuit video 150,000 times, but it's not doing all 150,000 of them at the same time. So it's much more distributed out. And Google or YouTube doesn't have the bandwidth requirements that Twitch does, and that Twitch, you have to have a server pretty close to you in order to receive, say, a constant stream of 3 megabits of bandwidth, whereas with YouTube, it may not be as bad, especially since you can pick the level of video you have. So it's different problem. They're different but the same. There are definitely problems that YouTube would know how to accommodate and possibly improve, which could be a good thing. But I am concerned with, like I said, the management interfaces are not very good. If you could have a single place to manage a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel from, that would be pretty cool. But I don't see it melding together very well, because both their management portals are awful, but you mix them together and I think it would just be awful. The other 2 big problems that I really see coming out of this are the fact that Google and everybody knows this, whether you consume YouTube gaming content on YouTube or make it. Everyone is well aware of this, which is that Google is absolutely both spineless and terrible with how they handle copyright stuff. We had the massive content ID explosion last year where a whole bunch of YouTubers had videos taken down for reasons they couldn't even figure out. Sometimes, hundreds of videos at once that they had to appeal. It was completely automated. As it turned out later, a lot of the claims were either incorrect or outright fraudulent. There have been people who have had channels taken down because of people claiming ownership over content that they in fact do not own. There's a guy, I think it's Terry Kavanaugh, the guy who made VVVVVV, who had trailers for his own game with content he wholly owns taken down multiple times because someone was claiming ownership over his music who doesn't own it. And it's always up to the content creator, the channel owner, to go through an appeals process that can take weeks, during which time whoever claimed ownership of your video can monetize it. And if it turns out that their claim was not valid or was proven wrong, you don't get to take all that money back. They get to keep all the money that the video earned while it was tied up in possibly a fraudulent claim. And there's nothing you can do about it, and there's nothing Google will do about it. They will take down videos for... They are so completely spineless when it comes to DMCA takedowns. Even the threat of one, they will always take it down, and they will always blame the channel owner, regardless of history, regardless of anything else. And the burden is always on the channel owner. Even though Google takes a substantial amount of your revenue for content that you make, they put all the responsibility on you for dealing with copyright. And even if someone files a claim that is fraudulent, and which is actually illegal to do, they receive no punishment whatsoever. I don't even think they get banned from making future claims, which is utterly ridiculous. And the reason that's a problem is, in the context of Twitch, is Twitch's entire business model is built around copyright infringement, whether you think it's right or not. And obviously I do not. I think live streaming and gaming related videos with content are absolutely transformative and fair use. But Twitch exists and is popular because people are streaming someone else's copyrighted content. It's what I do. It's what Total Biscuit does. It's what PewDiePie does. It's what any gaming YouTuber of note does. And that is literally all that Twitch is. Like, you can't broadcast a non-gaming video on Twitch. You will actually get banned for that. So the thing that is causing the most contentious copyright issues for YouTube is the entire business model of the company they just bought. So how are they going to deal with that exactly? Yeah, I really don't know. Now, Google is a huge company. It is a very smart company. It may be a spineless company in some ways, but it is a very, very smart company. They obviously thought of this. They obviously discussed this. They obviously have a team of lawyers who could probably fill the entire square footage of my neighborhood talking about this, and they obviously think they can make it work. Maybe when you're broadcasting live, it's not the same thing. Maybe it doesn't count the same way. Maybe they're going to... I don't know, maybe they're going to impose stricter rules on broadcasters on Twitch, saying you have to have commentary, you have to have a certain amount of commentary, you can't just be playing a game with nothing on top of it. I don't know. I mean, if they do that, I don't know how they intend to police that. I mean, technically, you're not allowed to stream PS4's built-in Playroom app right now. You know, like a whole bunch of people are doing the thing where they're using it as like, you're using it and the PlayStation camera to do like talk shows and stupid crap like that. You're technically not allowed to do that anymore because you're not broadcasting a game, but everybody does it and nothing happens. I mean, sure, Google has a bigger enforcement hit squad than Twitch does, I'm sure, but nothing's going to happen with that. So I don't know how they're going to handle that, but given how Google has handled copyright stuff with YouTube up to now, I think that's cause for a lot of worry for broadcasters and for viewers alike, because if broadcasters get nervous that they shouldn't broadcast certain stuff or do it in a certain way because they might get smacked for it, then fewer people are going to do it, and fewer people are going to start doing it. And that should worry a lot of people. What has made Extra Life so big the last couple of years? Mostly people live streaming it. And if people feel they're not safe doing that anymore for copyright issues, then fewer people will do it. And that's not a good thing. So that's a big potential problem. I don't know how they're going to deal with that. I'm sure there will be some way, but I'm curious about it. And I'm not going to say this is a bigger problem, because honestly, copyright is the biggest problem there is in terms of potential to wreck the community there. But I think the biggest problem, honestly, is how they're going to approach partnership with Twitch. Now, I am not a Twitch partner. I am a YouTube partner. I am not part of a network. I'll get into that. But I am technically a YouTube partner. My videos do monetize, and YouTube gives me a tiny little slice from ad views and ad clicks on my videos. I've been making videos for over a year now, and you have to earn $100 before they pay you. I think my entire channel has earned about $25 at this point. So, needless to say, I'm not actually making any money, but it is possible to do it. And I can do it. I cannot on Twitch. To get a partnership with Twitch, you have to broadcast a certain number of times a week and I think you have to broadcast like a minimum of 3 times a week and have 200 to 300 concurrent viewers every time, over an average, something like that. Anyway, and that's what you do, and you get a slice of the ad pie for that, and more stuff, including, stupidly, the ability to appear in search results in their god-awful mobile apps, which I find hilarious. That they have the same, I bitched in a Geek Bravado Ramble a long time ago about how YouTube and Twitch only promote what's already popular and leave the newcomers to sort of fend for themselves. And that's something I don't think will actually get worse with the Google acquisition, because it's just as bad now as it is on YouTube, so whatever. But the big problem I have is if they're going to try to reform Twitch partnerships into the same way that they do YouTube partnerships now. And the reason I have concern about that is, on its face, it could be a good thing, because in theory, anyone who has a YouTube channel that's been around for a while can apply for partnership with Google. You don't have to have there's very few requirements. I mean, my channel is not very popular. It was like a fifth as popular as it is now when I applied for partnership, and I just got it. It's not very hard. But the problem that I do think it's good that more people could get partnered with Twitch more easily, potentially. The problem that I have is that a lot of what caused this massive copyright content ID fiasco that happened last year is networks, multi-channel networks. And I say this as someone who is trying to get partnered with a smaller network for promotional reasons. But a number of years ago, Google created the concept of multi-channel networks. If you follow YouTube in a large way, I'm sure you've heard of some of them: Polaris, RPM, Fullscreen, N4G TV. There's a million of them. Like, there are literally hundreds of them now. And the idea was that Google wanted to create an easier way for groups of people to form together, to create coalitions to get better ad sales and to generate more revenue for themselves and in the process for Google, and to make everything go better. They were basically supposed to be collectives of content creators who would work together towards a common goal. The problem is that they let multi-channel networks, or MCNs, just kind of go willy-nilly, and they allowed anybody to start one for the most part. They allowed subnetworks, they allowed subnetworks of subnetworks, and they allowed it to spread like a cancer, to the point where there are a ton of multi-channel networks out there. A lot of them are very, very scummy. Some of them are not legitimate, like to the point of being criminal. A lot of content creators have been screwed and ripped off by them. Just Google, machinima controversy, and you'll see what I mean. And the MCNs, the fact that there were so many of them, and they were being allowed to accept any idiot into their networks, who had no respect for copyright or no respect for proper standards of any kind, is what caused a lot of that copyright upheaval, because they pissed a lot of people off, and they had a lot of people going, they pissed a lot of people off to the point where they went, why are you making money off our content? And as usual, when that hammer came down, Google changed the rules and said, you're going to have to go through copyright approval processes, and you're not going to be able to monetize your videos by default anymore unless, what a surprise, you're one of the bigger successful YouTubers. So once again, the big guys got the perk, all the little guys got shut out and screwed, because the networks that were largely created to foster and support the big guys got greedy and screwed everybody. And, well, it worked for some. Hey, how much did Maker get bought for recently? $500 million, I think. So, hey, it seemed to work for them. My concern is that cancer is now going to spread to live streaming partnership. If they make Twitch adopt a similar partnership structure to what YouTube has now, my concern is that the same thing is going to happen. The MCNs are going to sweep in. They're going to take over the whole thing. They're going to make it extremely hard to get noticed and to get partnered. And there's going to be a ton of shady networks out there that are going to screw people over. A whole bunch of potential rising stars will get ruined because they'll get taken advantage of by a scummy network, and basically all the same problems will happen again. That happened on YouTube, and that would be an absolute shame. I don't necessarily like the way Twitch does partnerships now, simply because, again, if you're not already popular, you can't get noticed. At least with the multi-channel network system within YouTube, I can apply to any network I want, and they may not take me if I'm not already popular, but it's up to them, not YouTube. And I like the fact that you are given options. You can shop around, you can shop multiple networks for the best deal. You can do your own research and avoid the ones that are scummy and possibly get with one who's really going to work with you. Whereas on Twitch, the corporation who runs the service is also the gatekeeper. So Twitch is your only point in, it's your only way in, and you have to work with them, and if you don't fit their model, you're kind of boned. So more choices are a good thing, but at the same time, the flip side of that is that having a one-stop shop like you do with Twitch does make it easier. There is one place to apply to, there is one point of contact for help. The people who you would go to for help have the power to act for you quickly, because they are the service. Even if you're with a big network on YouTube, if you have a problem, sometimes it can take days or weeks to get it resolved, because someone at your network has to talk to YouTube for you. Whereas with Twitch, you just go, hey, Twitch, I got a problem, and they help you out, which has its own benefits. The problem is, as I've just described, both of these systems are poor in their own ways. There's good parts and bad parts to each. If you could have a combined system where you'd have all the good parts of both together, that'd be pretty amazing. But that's not the way either one works, and I don't know if I want to see the current system of YouTube where the networks kind of wrecked things for everybody in many ways, except for the big dogs who will defend networks blindly. I don't think I want to see that go on to Twitch either, because Twitch already has a problem where they don't give new channels enough promotion, and I think it will only get worse if MCNs are allowed into the mix. I'm sure a lot of the MCNs right now, especially the big ones, are salivating at the opportunity to be able to get into Twitch as well. And the fact of the matter is, this is not a merger, it's an acquisition. YouTube is buying Twitch. YouTube will own them. YouTube can make them do whatever they want. And given how successful YouTube is, I presume by now it has to be making money for Google. Given how successful YouTube is and how self-sustainably successful Twitch probably isn't, I can't imagine Twitch will have a lot of say in this. But we'll have to see. I don't necessarily see the Twitch branding going away. I mean, YouTube did not become Google Video. Google Video actually went away. So I don't necessarily see Twitch becoming a YouTube thing. I see it retaining its own... I expect to see it retain its own brand. But I think a lot of the functionality and a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff could become more YouTube-like. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I really don't. I think... YouTube does a lot of things wrong, and I think YouTube has never had any incentive to do better because they don't have to, because they are, well, they're the only game in town, really. Like, you go to Vimeo to watch, you know, chunk of the reason why they're a good chunk of the reason why that's a good chunk of the reason why that goes on. I'm sorry, guys, I was just checking something here. There's a good chance that about 10 to 15 seconds of audio disappeared there. I apologize, I clicked the wrong button, but that was just me saying what I just said there, so don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah. So I'm sort of repeating myself here, but yeah, I don't think this buy is necessarily a good thing. I don't like to see stuff consolidated. I mean, I don't like to see monopolies in any situation. The fact of the matter is, right now, YouTube is a de facto monopoly for on-demand video. Twitch is a de facto monopoly for streaming video. There are alternatives, but nobody uses them to any great degree. And now you have one monopoly of everything. You know, the one source of live streaming and the one source of video on demand are now combined into one place, and that is rarely ever good for the people on the other end. Maybe if you're just a viewer, maybe it won't change very much. But the fact of the matter is, even if you don't make content, you are affected by what affects the content creators, because they will change how much and what they make based on what happens behind the scenes. So even if you think it doesn't affect you, if you just watch video, it most certainly does. And I think there's a lot of concerns around copyright. I think there's a lot of concerns around quality of service. You know, at the very least with Twitch, if you need help with something, their support is not good, but at the very least you can hit them up on Twitter or something and they'll probably help you out. YouTube has no support at all. Unless you're a big channel and part of a big network, they don't give a damn about you. They have forums that are awful, and that's basically it. You have no way to contact them if you have a problem. At least Twitch you kind of do, and I guarantee you that's not going to stick around. That will change in very short order. So yeah, ultimately, more competition is a good thing, and there's less of it now. And Google doesn't buy things to leave them alone. Google buys them to turn them into to make them part of their hive. And Google does a lot of things right. It also does a lot of things wrong, and the things it does wrong are often kind of terrifying. So I'm a little worried about what's going to happen there. But obviously we'll have to see. Even if they come out tomorrow and confirm, hey, we're buying these guys, it will be months and months before, number one, the deal closes, number two, any substantive changes are implemented. This isn't something that will happen overnight. So we'll have to see what happens. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they kind of maybe just leave Twitch alone and let them keep doing what they're doing, which was clearly good enough to make them worth $1 billion. So that would be nice, but I have a feeling that's not going to be the case, and I don't know if this is ultimately a good thing for the future of online broadcasting, but we will see what happens, I guess. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that. I don't know if I'm feeling also writing a blog post tonight, but I probably should, since this is so fresh. But we'll see what happens. So, but thank you guys for watching this. I just felt like recording something to go along with it. But thank you for watching. If you like what you see on the channel, please like and subscribe. It does help me out more than you might think. And there's going to be more coming soon, including possibly new retro flashback plays this week, depending on how a few things work out. So we'll see about that. But thanks for watching, guys. And, well, I'll see you next time.